Welcome to the highlights reel for Straight Talk. It's a brand new show where the panellists are unashamedly and unapologetically social conservatives. On Straight Talk, we discuss social issues that matter, without constraint, without compromise, and without government funding dictating to us what we should or shouldn't say. Our panel is Ashley Church, Christine Rankin, Ronji Tanielu, Alfred Nato, and Bruce Logan, all well-known names in the social conservative world. Here's a clip from our first show. It's a discussion amongst the panel regarding the changing of the guard of Prime Minister from Jacinda Ardern to Chris Hipkins. You'll actually find that it is exactly the same in the moral issues around conversion therapy, around abortion, around euthanasia, and all those issues. So she basically, he has the same record, and of course he's been the Minister of Health, Minister of Education and Police, and those haven't been that great. So I guess the question is, can he win the election? Now, we're just trying to sort out some images to come back. So we're going to listen to what you have to say just while we wait for the image. Let me start with Ronji. Is there any difference? Is there any difference between Hipkins and Jacinda?
Well, I guess in the moral and social area, you've already highlighted that there's not much difference between them. And to be honest, I think he probably could win the election if National continues to stay in the shadows and in the darkness and doesn't actually come out strong with some good policy. But his record on moral and social issues, especially around the abortion debates and around the gender conversion therapy stuff, was terrible. But when you look deeper at his ministerial portfolios, he was a bit of a Mr. Fix-It, a little bit like Megan Woods. But actually, when you dig a little bit deeper, we've got falling achievement rates. We've got high truancy rates. We've got abysmal NEET rates, not in education, employment or training, all under his watch as the Minister of Education. So I think even that shows that his policy decision and his leadership wasn't that strong in that sense. So I think he can win, but we just need to hope that there's some other good alternatives out there, in my view.
Okay. Bruce, what do you think? Is Chris Hipkins any different from Jacinda Ardern? And we apologise, we're just having some technical issues, so you can't actually see, but it's Bruce talking.
Okay, well, he is different from Jacinda in that he's, I think, every mother's favourite boy. He looks good on TV, but he's no different philosophically. In fact, he may be even worse. I mean, he was around during the introduction of the whole new curriculum, which I was ranting about earlier on.
Yep.
And the curriculum that he's been overseeing is what we've got. Now, either he knew what was going on or he was confused by his bureaucrats, which is not uncommon for ministers of education. They're frequently confused by the bureaucrats in the ministry. So however you look at it, it's not a good look. I don't have a great deal of faith in what's going to happen in education as far as Chris is concerned.
Actually, I did see this cartoon. Can you just put up number 36, Gordon? And it's by Tremaine, and it said fourth time lucky. And it's kind of like these crashes, Minister of Health, Minister of Education, Minister of Police, also even the state services. And now he's the Prime Minister. Is it still going to be a car crash? Alfred, what's your thoughts? Having probably worked with Chris Hipkins, you had a bit to do with him as an ex-politician?
Yeah, we're on a couple of select committees. We did do some work together, not as much. But I think the thing is that to add to the commentary, the polls have shown that, it's a typical Kiwi thing, right? We, despite what's happened in the past, we'll give someone a go. And so what we've seen is actually Chris Hipkins has actually taken a lift in the polls because despite all the other elements, they're trying to say, okay, well, and by Kiwis by nature will do that. They're going to give him a go. So really, it's up to Chris to prove himself whether he can actually manage the affairs of the country. Look, and so far, what seems to be coming through, he's got boots on the ground. Yep, he's made a few faux pas and some of those press releases about what's been happening in the Bay. But other than that, most Kiwis will think like he's doing okay. So it's up to him. I think that when he withdrew around the Three Waters to give it another view around co-governance, I mean, what he's trying to do is to show himself a bit more moderate, a bit more considerate, and more of a listener in comparison. So we'll see what happens.
Okay, Ashley, what's your thoughts?
Oh, look, I agree with everybody with regard to his politics and his ideology. He's no different to Ardern, but he's different in one absolutely key respect. He's a much smarter political operator, and he's shown that by taking the hot button issues which were absolutely impacting on Labor's support, and basically neutralising them over the last few weeks. Really clever stuff. Now, and at the moment, Alfred's right. The public's worn that. They've accepted that he's done that, and they're taking him at face value. I don't think that he will continue to be able to do that between now and October. I think that eventually the worm will turn and people will recognise who he actually is. But in answer to your question, yeah, he could absolutely win. If he continues to play this clever game, and it is a clever game, he could win. And to pick up on Ronji's comment, even more chance if the Nats don't turn around and start putting some lines in the sand when it comes to traditional and moral values. If they continue with this Labor Me Too stuff that they've been doing over the last couple of years, then there's a very good chance that we'll have a third term of this Labor government at the end of the year.
Okay, now we've got our screen back, although we've lost Christine, so we'll keep trying to find out where she is in Taupo. Can you just give us 36, Gordon? And this is the voting record when you compare Jacinda Ardern's voting record with Chris Hipkins in some of these key moral issues, euthanasia, abortion, drugs, parenting, gender ideology, and other areas. As you can see, it's absolutely identical, so no difference. Straight Talk will return on the 27th of March, Monday nights at 8 p.m. You can watch on our website, familyfirst.nz, or on our YouTube channel or our Facebook page. Join the conservative conversation every Monday night at 8 p.m, back on the 27th.